Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Rebel Fleet Trooper box set. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. I have long been a fan of the Rebel Fleet Troopers that you see in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And the correct title for these soldiers are Alderaanian security officers. They are fleet security aboard Alderaanian ships, such as Tantive 4. And that is why they are dressed in the gray fatigue pants, the blue shirt, and the black vest. They essentially become the fleet security forces for the Rebel Alliance and subsequently the New Republic. I missed out on being able to collect the original Rebel Fleet Troopers in the Vintage Collection as well as the Endor Rebel Commandos. And the aftermarket value on those action figures is ridiculous. And when I learned about this set, I immediately went to Hasbro Pulse's website to see if it was still available, and it was, so I picked one up. And I think it's really cool. I do like the black and white artwork on the packaging. I also like the fact that it's in a simple cardboard box. I thought that was really different, but also neat. I have to tell you guys, I've seen a lot of critical comments about this collection. I've also read some very negative reviews about it. And I haven't opened any of these action figures to see what they actually look like. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to unbox this together so that you can see firsthand what the set is all about. So to open it, you just lift this flap and pull it straight up. And you can see there's, I guess this is, so I've got the inserts removed, and I'm going to take one of these out, unwrap it. They're wrapped in like tissue paper, like a birthday present. I think that's funny. Really cool. I do like the action figures. I think that's awesome. Head swivel, and let's see if it'll pivot. Yes, there's pivot to it, forward and lateral movement at the shoulder. No bicep rotation, elbow rotation. I guess these are, I thought these were double jointed elbows, but I think they're single jointed. Wrist swivel and waist swivel. Forward movement at the thigh, no lateral thigh movement or thigh rotation. Lower leg swivel. And it looks like they have a double jointed knee. I think it's, or single jointed knee, I'm sorry. So ankle rotation, foot will pivot. So more of a simplistic level of articulation for this box set, which, you know, is a cost-saving measure on their part. You can still put these in a kneeling position. Someone said that you couldn't, but you can. And one of the things I'll point out, this is a type of marketing called perceived value. It's where they market the action figures and they do it in such a way to make you think you're getting more than you really are. You know, these aren't even vintage collection level articulation with these action figures. This figure still looks really cool, but, you know, I can see what people are complaining about when they talk about the packaging, the tissue paper, and the decreased articulation on them. So this is one of the ankle bandoliers for the flares. And trying to see if there is a port for that peg to go into. Let's see here. There's got to be, because there's a peg on. Yeah, there it is. It's on the inside of the leg. So I'm guessing that's going to plug in there and then just wrap around like that. No thigh holster for the DH-17 blasters. That's really disappointing. As far as his helmet does go on. Really neat. I do like that. I can't complain because I'm just excited to have them. I really am. And I think that's really cool. You know, and if you buy the Vintage Collection Tantive 4 playset, you've got troop builders to make a diorama or use for toy photography. So there's one Rebel Fleet Trooper. I'm going to set him back there. And we're going to pull out another one. And here's an Asian trooper. I think this is really cool, you know, that they're including different ethnicities, that they aren't all the same head sculpt. And you guys can see that up close. That looks really cool. I do like that. I think that's awesome that they did that, even if they decrease the articulation on the figures. And he looks to have the same level of articulation. You want to be careful with positioning these joints, particularly that knee joint. You see how I'm holding the upper leg when I bend the knee? Because that could easily break. See how it just kind of popped out of place there? The same level of articulation, same kit, same vest and things like that. And I think the flare bandolier is going to go on the same leg. Let's see. This one doesn't want to go in. And it looks like, if you all can see this, looks like the port isn't there. Well, let's see if it's on this leg by chance. There it is there. It's on the back of his leg. It rotated. Okay. So that will fit. Yeah, that's really cool. I do like this, that there's different ethnicities. I think that's really awesome. I do like the fact that they have their trigger finger for the blaster. The only thing I wish they had that they don't is a holster. You know, that's something I may try to customize later on and make, because it would just look more authentic if they did. Yeah, it looks like the port's on the back of his leg. This is a part that I can see them easily losing, You know, this might be something where you want to apply a little bit of super glue and permanently put it in place. And it looks like, there we go. And the way that their fingers are positioned, I think you could put the blaster in either their right or left hand. And for those that ask, the blasters are that very soft rubber type plastic that is prone to warping. But so far, these blasters don't seem to have any warping in them at all. And this guy is in a brown outfit, which I really like. I do like this uniform. I think that looks cool. And he has a captain's rank pip on. And the reason I know that is there are 5 discs in the middle of the square. And the blue is used for the naval ranks, and the red is used for the fighter squadron ranks, and the green is used for the ground forces. And his helmet is also white. So that looks cool. I do like that. I like that brown. I think that looks awesome. So there is one last tissue paper. Let's see what's in here. Looks like accessories. You have 2 Blastech A280C blaster rifles, and that one's warped a little bit. I think I can straighten that with some heat. This one is really warped. You guys can see that. And the way that I know what they are, the A280C in Empire was made from a German World War II submachine gun, and that's why the receiver looks the way it does. If you look at Return of the Jedi, the A280 blaster rifles used by the Endor Rebel Commandos, the receivers were made from AR-15 rifles. So they have a little different appearance to them. They actually have the standard mag well on the 280, and then there's an additional one in front of it where the 280C just kind of has this gap. But there's 2 of these included as well. So I think the set overall is a nice set. You know, I think it's really cool that they decided to give us a troop builder pack of the Rebel Fleet Troopers, particularly for those of us that didn't get to collect these when they were originally released in the Vintage Collection. So I think that's a plus. I do like the diversity that you have, you know, different ethnicities in the action figures, different head sculpts that are not all identical. I think that's also a plus. And I do like the fact that they have removable helmets and weapons. And even though the articulation is reduced, it's not the super articulation that we're used to with the Vintage Collection. It's passable. You know, you can live with it. It's better than not having them at all. And it's certainly better than them giving us figures like the Power of the Force Rebel Fleet Troopers. The only real negative that I will point out is 2 things. One, the lack of these action figures having a holster. I think that is something that they should have included. And if I'm not mistaken, the Rebel Fleet Trooper included in the Vintage Collection Tanted 4 playset also does not have a holster. So to me, that's something they should have included that they didn't. You should have had a holster there for the DH-17 blaster. And the other aspect is the fact that the weapons are made out of that soft, rubbery type plastic. I would rather pay a few dollars more for the Vintage Collection and Black Series and get solid ABS weapons. I really would. I would not mind paying $13, $14 a piece for the vintage collection just to get ABS weapons. Overall, I think the set is totally worth the cost. I paid $41.99, I think was the cost from Hasbro Pulse, and that comes out to about $12.99 each if they were individually carded figures. So it's not a price increase on these figures. You're paying what you would if they were individually carded. You're getting 4 figures, and I can understand the cost saving measure with not giving a card back. I don't think that's a make or break thing. Only concern with the packaging is the potential for losing accessories because they're loose. If I were going to do something different with the packaging, I would have put all the accessories in tiny Ziploc bags. But still, there's nothing wrong with the way these action figures were packaged. That's nothing to complain about. The articulation's nothing to complain about. And I'm not really complaining about the lack of a holster. It is what it is. I would have liked to have seen that, but I think it's possible to custom make a holster for these figures and use something like a self-adhesive sticky to place it on their thigh so that you don't have to glue it on there and risk messing up the action figure. But overall, it's a great set. If you don't have it, you certainly need to pick it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have the Star Wars, the Vintage Collection Rebel Fleet Trooper box set.